So the NRL decided to roll the dice on Las Vegas. And what happened was this incredible mix of massive success and some really nail-biting controversy. In this explainer, we're going to break down that whole high-stakes opening round that had literally everyone talking, from the fans in Sin City to some pretty furious coaches back home. Okay, let's get into it.
And you know what? That was pretty much the feeling all around. From the big bosses in the league to the fans, the whole Vegas thing was seen as this huge win for rugby league. But, as you're about to see, that shiny review came with some serious on-field drama that left a few teams feeling like they totally busted.
The first big sign of success? You just had to look at the crowd. We're talking the biggest crowd the NRL has seen since they started this whole American experiment. It proves the gamble isn't just working, it's actually growing. And it wasn't just in Vegas. Pubs and clubs and parties back in Australia were absolutely packed.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at why Vegas was such a winning bet. Then, we'll dive right into those on-field controversies. After that, we'll give out an early season report card for the 4 teams. And then, we'll wrap it all up by looking at where the NRL might be heading next on the world stage.
All right, let's kick things off with that off-field success. I mean, from a business and marketing point of view, the NRL really couldn't have asked for a better start to the season.
Yeah, and when you look at the numbers, it really paints the picture. You've got all the pieces coming together. A record crowd in the stadium, massive engagement back home, and of course a very, very happy chairman in Peter V'landers who's already looking to double down on this whole international thing. This wasn't just a footy match. This was a real statement.
But here's the thing. While all the officials were celebrating upstairs, down on the field it was a totally different story. It was a story of amazing triumph for some and just absolute turmoil for others. And man, that turmoil really boiled over in the final moments of the Bulldogs versus Dragons game. After 80 minutes of just brutal footy, the game goes to golden point, and it's decided by a single, hugely controversial penalty that led to a last-second field goal. And this right here was the million-dollar question. It split fans, experts, and most importantly, the two teams right down the middle. Did the Dragons illegally strip the ball, or did the Bulldogs player, Bronson Xerri, just blues it? The answer decided the entire game.
So here's the crucial moment. The Dragons were convinced it was a simple loose carry. You know, Xerri's running, bumper bars up, and the ball just pops out. But the referee saw an illegal strip, blew the penalty, and basically handed Stephen Crichton a chance to win the game, which, of course, he didn't miss.
And you can just feel the frustration in that quote, can't you? Dragons coach Shane Flanagan, he did not hold back. He was basically saying that for all the success of the Vegas event, it was spoiled by a call that, to him, was just plain wrong. And that is a really tough pill to swallow after flying halfway across the world. But wait, the drama wasn't over. The Dragons weren't the only team flying home from Vegas feeling a bit ripped off. The North Queens Cowboys had some major problems with the officiating in their game too, and it all came down to what they saw as a massive lack of consistency.
So at the heart of their frustration were 2 high tackles that looked really similar, but ended up with wildly different results for the players involved. This whole tale of 2 tackles became a huge talking point about players' safety and refereeing standards.
Okay, check this out, because this is what caused all the anger. On one side, you have the Cowboys' Braden Burns. He gets sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes and is now facing a multi-week suspension for his high shot. But on the other side, you have the Knights' Tyson Frizzell. He makes what a lot of people thought was a similar tackle. He stays on the field, and he walks away with just a $1,000 fine. You can see why the losing team found that so frustrating.
And that's exactly what Cowboys coach Todd Payton was getting at. He wasn't even necessarily arguing about the calls themselves, but the lack of consistency between them. It's a complaint we hear a lot in the NRL, and on a huge stage like Vegas, it just gets amplified.
So, after all that success and all that drama, what did we actually learn about the 4 teams that kicked off the season in Sin City? All right, let's hand out some early season grades.
First up, the Knights. What a huge win for them. After finishing dead last season, getting the wooden spoon, to come out and put 28 points on the Cowboys is just a massive confidence booster. A perfect start for their new coach.
The Bulldogs, they just looked calm and in control. Really clinical. They played with a high completion rate, and their big money signing Stephen Crichton immediately showed his value as a leader, especially under pressure when he calmly slotted that game-winning field goal.
Now the Dragons, even with the loss, they showed they're going to be a tough, aggressive team. They left to get into a real scrap. The big question for them is whether they have that one superstar player who can turn these close, heartbreaking losses into wins.
And finally, the Cowboys. Well, it was a really flat start to the year for them. They looked off the pace, and the experts were quick to say that if they play like that all season, there's no way they can make the top 8. A definite wake-up call for sure.
Okay, let's zoom back out to the big picture now. Because this weekend in Vegas wasn't just about 4 teams. It was about the NRL's massive ambition to take Australian Rugby League to the rest of the world.
And this is the term you're going to hear a lot: global footprint. Vegas was basically the proof of concept, the test run. Now the NRL is actively planning to take its show on the road, trying to turn the league into a truly international product and tap into new fan bases and big new markets. And we're not just talking about some vague ideas here. London is already being talked about for as early as next year. Pundits are floating ideas like Tokyo, with its friendly time zone, Miami, the legendary Wembley Stadium. There's even talk of showing off the sport at the Brisbane 2032 Olympics. The ambition is absolutely huge.
And that really brings us to our final and most important question. The NRL proved it can put on an amazing show, but the controversies from that opening weekend also proved that when you get a bigger stage, you also get a brighter and much harsher spotlight. So was the game truly ready for the kind of global scrutiny that comes with having a global ambition? Well, that's the big question that remains.